Hi, my name's Lee and I teach online ear training for free. Before I get started, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and why I am so passionate about teaching ear training to my fellow musicians. My story begins with my background in music. I was very fortunate to have a very well-rounded education in music. I grew up learning to play the piano since the age of 6. I had classical and jazz background training. I joined a band. I started learning trumpet when I was 10, and I started playing in concert bands in high school. I was in a big band playing piano in high school, and I learned about scores, and I got faster at sight reading, and everything was just a really, really great way to learn music and just get immersed in it. So I was very fortunate with that. And then when I was 18, I decided to take a break from education, and I went traveling for 5 years. And the only problem was I couldn't take my piano with me. It's not really the most portable instrument. But I didn't want to abandon music altogether. I remember sitting in my bedroom when I was living in England, and I had some manuscript paper, and I wanted to write down a melody that I was hearing in my head. And I remember getting 2 bars into writing that melody before I just gave up, because I couldn't be sure whether what I was hearing in my head matched on paper. I couldn't be sure that it was the same thing. And it was really frustrating as a trained musician that I should know how to do this, but nobody had ever taught. My ear training consisted of my teacher playing intervals and saying, "What interval is that? What interval is that?" Or she would play chords and ask me if that was a dominant chord or a major chord. And that was the extent of my ear training. And there are a lot of ear training programs out there that have that same philosophy where you have to memorize intervals. But the thing is, that is just scratching the surface. That's like kindergarten of ear training. There's really so much more to it. And basically what happened was, after I finished my traveling, I came back to Canada and I went and pursued music school at college, and I was trained by the most amazingly gifted solfege teacher. Her name was Paula Kramer, and I believe she probably created her own curriculum, because she took solfege to such an advanced level. And we were doing, we did the basic things like intervals that you should know, but we were also learning about mixolydian modes and locrian modes and how to sing those kind of melodies. We were also learning about chord progressions, but not just your normal not just your normal triad chord progressions. We were learning things like secondary dominants, how to hear those. We were learning Neapolitan chords, French, German, Italian chords. We were learning, inversions, how to hear a half diminished seventh in second inversion. We were also learning about open voicings, because this sounds different from this. We still had to learn how to hear things in different voicings. And so, on top of that, once we got past tonality, we had to learn how to do 12-tone serialism, where there is notes all over the place and there's no way to find your way home. Your tonality has just gone out the window. So I've learned how to basically get really, really amazing relative pitch. I don't have perfect pitch, but if you give me a starting note, I can find any pitch. And I've also learned how to write a jazzed heart in real time. I can write almost as fast as I'm thinking. The only reason I am saying almost is because I physically cannot write that fast. I can take a melody, I can sing a melody that I've never seen before, and just by looking at that melody, I can tell what chords are gonna fit with that melody and know that how it's gonna sound in my head, and I don't have to touch a piano. The only thing I'm doing with the piano is I'm getting my starting note, and that's it. So I really want to share this with other trained musicians who were just as frustrated as I was, not knowing how to really hear music and really understand what something sounded like. And there are a lot of great ear training programs out there and that you can do online that are free, and they're great. But if you wanted something more advanced and you want a challenge and you don't feel like you're getting enough, then that's where I want to help. And I really want you to be able to have the same benefit using this tool that I have. So stick around and I'll see you in lesson 1.